So hosting an Airbnb was supposed to make your life easier. So why does it feel like you've suddenly taken on a second job? And over the last few months, I've pulled apart listings after listings, different cities, different prices, different hosts even, more than 100 audits all together. And I kept finding the same thing. The most exhausted hosts weren't dealing with the biggest properties. They weren't even dealing with the worst guests. In fact, they were creating a whole bunch of extra work for themselves, sometimes without even realizing it. And I found myself in that exact scenario more times than I care to acknowledge in this video. And you wake up, and even before you're able to even get out of bed, there are messages waiting for you. Things like a guest can't find the Wi-Fi. Your cleaner sends a text message, she can't make the turnover. The hot tub may be throwing an error. Maybe someone wants an early check-in. Y'all, these early check-ins. And another guest can't find the lock code, or they have it, but they can't get it to work. And it's not even lunch, and you've already touched the business 6 times already. And this is for something that some of us on YouTube has told you is supposed to be passive income. And I'm here to tell y'all, you didn't do anything wrong. You have just taken on too much. And y'all, it is by following that advice, that same advice is how you will build a second job for yourself. And from my audits, I can tell you it shows up in the same 4 places each and every single time. And so you just keep adding, and every time you do this, it feels like progress, but that is actually the trap. And so the problem was never that you were doing too little, it's that you're carrying too much. And here's what I finally figure out. And the best way I can explain this actually comes from my 5-year-old. And this little guy loves Legos. And if you've ever stepped on one of them barefoot in the dark, you know that one tiny piece can cause a shocking amount of pain. And your Airbnb works the same way. One rule, one gadget, one automation, and each one feels harmless on its own until you're surrounded by them. And every single one is something that you have committed to maintaining forever. And that is what I call the fragility tax. And you don't pay it once. Oh no, you're going to pay it forever. And so here's how I want you to think about this. Every feature of your Airbnb is either an improvement or a responsibility. And the fragility tax is how you tell them apart. And so as we go through, I'm going to show you all 4 places. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to cut first and how to spot a responsibility dressed up as an improvement before you even add it. And let's start with the rules. And y'all, I audited a place in Tempe, and before a guest could even book this property, they had to agree to 12 rules, pass a criminal background check, and upload their photo ID along with a selfie. And the part that seemed the most odd about this is that you could follow all of these steps and your reservation could still be canceled right there in rule 1. And honestly, that sounds a little tame. So if you go and read some of the rules online, you'll find people who will charge you $250 for opening a window. Some hosts even have rules telling guests not to feed the neighbor's cat because it will quote unquote lie about being starved. I even came across a rule on Reddit where a host was telling their guests not to climb on top of the roof to play the violin. And I wish I was making this up, but those rules are actually out there, y'all. In some of the listings that I audited that had some of the most arduous rules, they also had reviews with things like worn out furniture, stains, things half fixed. The rules in some of these listings were the most maintained things in their entire listing. And honestly, y'all, I would have deleted half of these rules before I even touched anything else. Because really, every single rule is a fragility tax. It is one more thing to write, one more thing to explain, and one more thing to enforce forever. And I get it, y'all. A lot of hosts will do this thinking that they're protecting their listing. But the bad guests never read rules. And the good guests, well, the careful family, the quiet couple, they're going to read all of these rules and will not book your property as a result of it. And so this week, I want you to delete every single rule that isn't about safety or a real deal breaker. And going forward, before even thinking about adding a rule, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is this protecting your house, or is this protecting you from an uncomfortable conversation that you may have to have with a guest in the near future? But that is just one place you can cut, but it wasn't even the biggest cut that you can make. The second place is this stuff. And I audited a host selling branded merch for their listings. Now, this was real money, real effort into developing this. Yo, I'm talking logo, I'm talking real creative work to pull this together. But in the same listing, guests were complaining about a torn couch and the floors weren't clean. And the question that was almost automatic into this process is, why is this host building a gift shop before they figured out housekeeping? And the obvious fix here is that they should have spent a little bit more time fixing this couch before they're investing money in developing a logo. And y'all, I don't just audit or run Airbnbs, I also stay in them with my own family when we travel. Not too long ago, we rented an Airbnb for my whole family, and my son is obsessed about dinosaurs. But when we arrived, this property had a pool table. And y'all, this wasn't something that we were seeking out. I wasn't planning to play pool, but the pool table had broken Q-tips. It had no rack, and we weren't going to use it, but it really stuck out to me. Because what I want you to think about as hosts is that an amenity isn't a feature, it actually is a promise. And a broken promise is worse than not making a promise at all. And even when some of these amenities and features work, you still have to pay to maintain them. And I reviewed this listing right here in Atlanta that had everything: a hot tub, a fire pit, outdoor grill. And the reviews kept saying the same thing: ask the host how to work them. And so every single fancy amenity in this property had quietly turned the host into tech support. And that is the fragility tax again, because every amenity is a job you gave yourself forever. So here's a call I want you to make this week. Find the one amenity that no one actually books you for and stop offering it, or fix one that is actually broken. And y'all, if this was actually one of my listings, I would focus on the good Wi-Fi and that coffee station. But some of these gadgets that never show up in the review, some of these would have to go. And so before you buy the next one, I want you to ask yourself, will a guest actually book me because of this? Or am I just taking on something that I'm going to have to maintain? And if you're wondering what actually deserves your attention and what you can really safely ignore, that is exactly why I've built the Airbnb setup checklist. It's free in the description, and it isn't everything, but it is the things that actually matter to your revenue and your review. So you can go and grab it down below and use it to evaluate your listing, or if you're setting up a listing, use it as a guide to make sure you're focusing only on those things that matter. But these first two items isn't even where hosts lose the most time. That is actually the third item, and that is how we talk to guests. And let's go there next. And I once opened a welcome guide that was about 40 pages long. And y'all, here's the irony. The host was still getting messages asking for the Wi-Fi password because it was actually buried deep in the document, probably somewhere past the towel rationing or the trash takeout schedule. What I want you to understand as you're putting together these guest books, if you make them large and complicated, you're not actually providing more information, you're actually burying the answer. And related to this, I've seen hosts with more than a dozen automated messages, things like check-in steps spread across 4 different apps. And so before a guest even arrived, these guests have already received thousands of words. And y'all, that is the fragility tax again in word format. And every page is a page that you'll be updating forever. So this week, I want you to consider cutting this back. Really and truly, you really only need one page. You need the Wi-Fi, the door code, the checkout time, and how to reach you in case of emergency. And before you add anything else to your welcome book, before you even think about writing another page, I want you to ask yourself, does this actually need to be added, or do you just feel better adding it? And here again is the longer, the more complicated you make these documents, the less useful they become. And y'all, the fourth place, well, it is the most expensive tax of all. So let's go there next. And here I'm talking about all the automation that you've added to try to simplify your Airbnb, because somebody on YouTube told you that this is what you needed to do. And y'all, I'm not anti-technology, but I've watched hosts stack it all up. Host away, Turno, dynamic pricing, smart lock, cameras, automations on automations. And in many of these instances, they spend more time managing the tools that they've spent doing the task. And this is the most expensive fragility tax of all, because you've built a machine that needs its own maintenance. Every moving part is one more thing something that can fail. And here's one that really stuck out to me. I reviewed an Atlanta listing whose checkout list told guests to strip the beds, bag the trash, and wash every dish. And that last task came with a warning that, hey, if you don't wash those dishes, you're going to be charged. And y'all, here's the honest part. I used to be that host. My checkout list used to be a whole thing. Trash, dishwasher, strip the beds, a whole list of jobs. And I can tell y'all, guests quietly rebelled at this. Now, some folks would actually follow those rules, but most folks left annoyed and left bad reviews as a result of it. And so in trying to run a responsible business, we went ahead and cut all that out. Now we only ask our guests to leave the towels in the bathtub, lock the door. That is it. And yes, we do ask them to book and come back and stay with us again. And some of y'all might be thinking, oh, well, your cleaner might get upset with you. No, they were fine. Cleaners were okay. Guests were happier, and it was one less thing to manage. And so what I need you to understand is that you cannot automate your way out of a complicated business. You have to simplify your way out of it. And so your task for this week is to go and take at least one thing off that checkout list. Just one. And see if anything changes. See if anything breaks as a result of it. It probably won't. And before you add another tool, I want you to ask yourself, is this replacing work or am I creating one more thing to manage? And if you're trying to build an Airbnb that frankly doesn't take over your life or isn't too complicated to run, I want to invite you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I'll help you skip the mistakes I keep seeing in all of my audits. And so look at what we've built. Rules, amenities, communication, the machine, right? The same 4 places. Every one of them was the same tax. That you don't just pay once, you will pay this forever. And you have accidentally built yourself a second job, really one good intention at a time. And then what I want you to think about is you don't really own an Airbnb. You really own every decision you've ever added to it. Now, here's what actually really surprised me. I went back through the 5-star reviews of all the places that I've audited, and they barely mentioned the pool table or the theme or the gadgets. Instead, they say things like the beds were really comfortable. The kitchen had everything that we needed. We had room for our family just to be together. And there was one place, an Orlando game house, every game you can imagine. And the guest said the pool table in the middle of the living room made it hard to just sit and relax. And y'all, in this case, the irony is the thing built to make the house more fun actually made it less comfortable. And y'all, if this is my listing, that pool table wouldn't survive the first week. And honestly, I get it. We travel as a family of 5. And when I walk into an Airbnb, I'm not hoping for a pool table. I'm really just hoping for beds that are comfortable, that the kitchen works, that the floors are clean, because I got an 11-month-old who loves crawling around on the floor, and that nobody's going to text me about how to operate something. And we've tried cramming all 5 of us into one hotel room. Well, that doesn't really work for us. And that's actually why we book Airbnbs. But really, the good hotels figured this out decades ago. They're not competing on pool tables. They're competing on good beds, clean rooms, blackout curtains. They're not trying to impress you. They're trying to help you sleep. And I get it. Complexity in our business sometimes helps us feel like we have control over it. But really, it's the thing that is breaking you. It is the thing that is going to make you no longer want to continue doing this business. And here's the shift. The goal was never to build the most impressive Airbnb. It was to become the kind of host who can tell the difference between an improvement and another responsibility. And y'all, our goal should be striving to create the simplest Airbnb that actually helps us meet our revenue goals that we can deliver consistently time and time again. And so now you have both the 4 things to remove this week, as well as the 4 questions you should ask yourself before you add even one more thing to your property. But before you go cutting anything out, here's the dangerous part. Some things actually matter a lot. And if you cut the wrong thing, you won't just feel lighter, you could actually start losing bookings. And so the next video is the other half of this, the few things that I would never cut from my Airbnb, the ones that do almost all of the work. And watch that before you go and touch a single thing, because when you pair what you've learned in this video with that one, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the other hosts in your market. I'm over there. See you in a few minutes.